Hello YouTube peoples. Alright, so some updates on the 96 Camaro and the 80 Trans Am. On this one I rolled the fenders. I just got that sitting on there. I've already rolled them, but I was just going to go over a few things here. Now on this, I didn't heat this up because, I don't know if you can tell, but the fender had some rust in it. And the paint's already real bad chipped anyway. See, there's chips everywhere. Clear coat's peeling. So it needs a paint job, but I just wanted to go ahead and roll the fenders, get them out of the way. So I bought this cheap $45 fender roller. It's worked pretty good actually. I just got it sitting on there right now so I could go over a few things on this. But you use these right here to put on the studs and then put the nut on. They've got the little angle on them, but that holds it on there. One of the main things when you start doing this is the angle of this roller. Like, this is where you want to be towards the end, but now when you first start and that ledge is, you know, straight across like that, you want to be at an angle. I probably got that too tight to loosen. I do, with one hand anyway, but you want this roller at an angle, so you know you're hitting it, you know, to push it up, and then you change the angle of this, and then you push it more, and then you change the angle again until you get it to where it's flat to press that on there. But I'm gonna try to loosen that again. Ooh, I put the whammy on that. But anyway, and you know, if yours isn't long enough, or if it's too long, you might have to use the jack to jack the car up from the body a little bit, and that'll give you more room. But you, instead of having this, you know, flat like that, you want it in an angle like that when you start. A little bit of angle, roll it some, put it at a little more angle, roll it some, put it a little bit more angle and roll it some. But that $45 eBay fender roller worked really good. But like I said, I got bad spots in my fender on both sides. And you can see if we can see how good it rolled it. Not sure how good you could see that with me just holding the phone out here because I can't see the screen. But yeah, it started kind of like that at a 90-degree angle, and then it rolled it on up. So I can see there. So it rolled it up pretty good. So hopefully it'll clear the tire. And like I said, I needed a paint job, so I didn't worry about peeling the paint because it's got rust in spots too. But anyway, the main thing is the angle on that. If you're too short to get the angle just right, jack it up from the body. It'll give you some more room right here. And start this at like a, like a 45-degree angle than where we're at right now. Do it some, change the angle, do it some, and you can raise this up and down as needed to get where you want. But and then this other side, it's a little bit worse. This other side, see, there's a really bad spot right there. I'm not sure how good you can see that. There's a bad spot there. So, didn't worry too much about peeling the paint. But it rolled it up there pretty good. It's got it out of the way of the tire. And that's the main thing I was looking for. So now this rear end has a full spool in it, so it's locked. Camera don't want to focus. So when I had it in neutral, it did not want to, it didn't want to turn too good, even in neutral with that full spool in there. So what I had to do was get under there and take the drive shaft out, which I'm glad I did, because if you remember correctly on my last video, this thing wheel hopped on me. And remember I said wheel hopping is really, really, really bad on your suspension? Well, that wheel hop broke something, or it didn't break something, it bent it. Let me see if we can get in here and see it. Need a little bit more light. Let's try to zoom in. Right there about where it starts getting dark. I should have brought my light down here, I reckon. Cell phone light just ain't bright enough, but let's try to get a better view. But anyway,
you can see it better here. You can see it better here in this picture. That torque arm is supposed to be straight, and see right there where it's by the drive shaft, it's bent really bad right there.
Right there about where the torque arm comes up, where I got the drive shaft laying, and the torque arm come up, there's a really bad bend right there. So it bent my torque arm. So I've already ordered a anti-roll drag bar for this thing. So now I've got to order a torque arm. I went with the BMR Extreme for the anti-roll bar. And then I think I'm going to go with a Midwest tunnel mount for my, I got duals, but they end right there. They don't even make it to where the tunnel mount would even bolt to, so that's not going to be a problem. But anyway, that's where I'm at with this one. Just waiting on BMR to send me the sway bar. Oh, zoom back out. There we go. Yeah, see, I just got the stock sway bar in here. We're going to get a roll bar in it and a tunnel mount, so hopefully that'll help our 60 and help us with spinning on the nitrous. And then on this one, we lowered the front. The front was way too high. It was actually so high. I don't know who put the springs in this car, but they were way too big. It actually had the rebound completely maxed out. As soon as you start jacking the car up, the wheel came up. But I mean, it was way up here. But we lowered it down to there. And
here are some before and after pictures, what it did look like and what it looks like now.
I got to take this side apart to change the studs for them Prostars. So I'll go over how I lowered it. I'll make a little video on that. And then got to change the studs in this side. I've already changed the studs in this side and put the Prostar on. Now these are 24 inch tires. And they are way too small. I mean, they're usable, but we need to get a 26, 27 in there, fill that hole out a little bit more. Plus it'll give it more rollout on the beams with a bigger tire. But anyway, that's where it's at. I put the Moroso studs in it. And I tell you right now, I do not like the Moroso studs. They strip out so easy, it's not even funny. I have a little tool that I use an impact with to pull those through. And 2 of them Moroso studs stripped out. I mean, and I wasn't even done pulling the stud through. I've used stock studs that were stronger than those. Mine has strange studs in the back of it, and it's got stock studs on the front, just longer stock studs. And I was able to use that tool and put the whammy on them, and it didn't strip out the stock studs. I barely even hit the impact on those to pull them through with that tool, and it stripped 2 of them out instantly. Them Moroso studs ain't worth a crap. I'll never buy those again. I mean, I could take that front tire off and put the tool on them stock studs and hit that impact on those. I guarantee you they won't strip out, even with the cheap nuts. But if you're wondering what tool I'm talking about, oh, I must have it over here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this little tool right here. It's got like a bearing in the back of it. you put the stud through, and then you put that there, and you put the bolt there, and you hit it with an impact and pull it through, or you can just use a ratchet. But so I had to cut these out. It stripped that one out with that cheap bolt, so I thought I'll use this big bolt, maybe it won't strip out. It stripped out with that bolt too, so I had to cut those out and redo it. Yeah, and those were the Moroso wheel studs, 7/16. See, I got stock studs on that, and they're just a little bit longer than what it came stock, but they're stock top studs. And I used that tool and impacted the crap out of those, and those did not strip out. It pulled the stud right through there really easy and everything. And those even had a bigger knurl going through the hole than these had going through this hole. So, I mean, these should have went through there easy and not stripped out. But them things stripped out easy. See, and then I got the strange wheel studs back here with the strange axle, and I pulled those through the same way. I have a problem with none of them. The first one I pulled through on the 80 Trans Am, it went through good, but the second one stripped out and the third one stripped out. So after that, I just started beating them back through the rear of it because I had the rotor out on the bench here. So I just used this 1/2-inch drive extension and that big hammer and beat them through from the back, so I didn't strip them out no more. But yeah, one of his rear ones stripped out too for no reason at all. We were just putting the bolt on it and it stripped out. The bolt wasn't cross-threaded or anything. But yeah, as far as my experience is concerned, don't buy the Moroso studs. Get a different brand. Those ain't worth crap. But anyway, that's where we're at. And then the next video I'm going to make, I got to change the studs on this side. We're going to go ahead and keep the Moroso on there because that's what we've already ordered and got. I'll just beat them through the back, not use the tool on them. But when I jack that up and take it off, I'm going to go over how I did those springs. There is a trick to taking those in and out. A lot of prying. It's a pain in the butt. And when you cut them, you got to cut the top because the bottom is a certain size, and the end of the spring has to fit into a groove on the lower control arm. But once I take that off and get it all off, I'll go over exactly how I did that. I didn't take a video while I did it because it's just, I work on these cars by myself, and it's just hard to take a video and do it at the same time. So really, it's the same as me just explaining it after it's done, because as I'm doing it, I just have to do one part, pick up the phone, explain what I did, you know. So once I get that all apart to change the studs and the rotor off, I'll go over how I did the springs and how I did the studs, and then I'm going to put the other Prostar on here, and then I'm going to put the 26-inch slicks on the back and see how it sets. But that tire is definitely too small. We're going to get a 26 or a 27-inch to go on there. That's a 24. I'm thinking a 27 would be perfect. But yeah, that's where we're at.